and figure out whether this is a good idea to implement or not. I'd like to open the floor now. All right, so let's move to the dais then for comments. Let's start with Councilman Coyne.
I think it's cut and dry, so
Thank you.
nothing to add.
Okay,
Safety first.
thank you, Councilman Scaleo. Councilman Vanilla.
I also have nothing to add to it. I think it's good.
Councilman Johnson.
Thank you. We were approached by a lot of the residences requesting this. There's definitely a safety issue, so I think this is the move in the right direction.
Thank you very much. I'm going to add to the safety component in this conversation. I also would like to say that this dovetails nicely into our ongoing drive to try to clean up some of the traffic patterns that are in town that have gotten a little overused and have perhaps maybe fallen behind on some attention. So I too think that this is a good idea. With that, I think that we just I think we can close the public hearing since nobody seems to have anything to say. Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Second by Mr. Johnson. All in favor? Aye. Opposed and abstentions, ayes carry. Thank you very much. Let's move on then, shall we? All right, on to the warrants, Madam Clerk.
You have two warrants this evening. You have a general warrant, the amount of $843,696.38. Any motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Then you have the utility warrant in the amount of $53,610.92. Any motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, that brings us to our first public participation section. Lots of opportunities to talk to us here tonight. This is the second of three. At this point, we open up the floor to anyone who's got any questions, concerns, comments about any agenda item that is currently in front of the board. We again ask you to come to the podium, speak your name and your address. Clearly, you have 3 minutes to speak to us on any topic that's currently on the agenda.
Jim Moore, 54 Fairlawn. The golf fund, I see that you're going to kind of, I guess, write off that fund deficit of 1.5 or $1.6 million. That's been an ongoing thing, I think, every year. And government accounting standards require that you resolve that stuff. And that's our way of resolving it for now.
That is correct. So that is an administrative move because that loan to the enterprise fund can't remain outstanding. So we have to close that in the books so that the books can be closed. It's part of that process. Yes.
Okay. But what's the recourse in the long run? Because for about 10 years now, it's been running that deficit and accumulating. What's going to stop it from doing it going forward?
We have been actively having a conversation at the work session level to try to address how to manage better the golf course and how to manage that enterprise fund. There are a couple different options that we're looking at. Certainly, perhaps changing management firms is one direction to go. I think the general consensus, I don't want to speak for my other board members, I'm speaking just for myself right now, is that there's really no world where the golf course should be in deficit such as it is, and that the expectation that I would have is that it generate enough revenue to operate itself and then perhaps feed a little bit back into the coffers as it's designed to do. We've not been able to find a management company over the better part of 5, 7, maybe 7 years now, where that has been feasible. That's not to say that there aren't other management firms out there that have had success. So, and also the town itself has had some success running its own golf course. So there are other opportunities as well. Everything is on the table. We are evaluating that as we go into the 27 budget season for sure.
And then there's another item on the housing authority, the money from there. That was the one that was dissolved a few years back, and
Correct.
then the funds were given to the town, and that's a separate account, it sounded like?
Currently, yes, and that actually was dissolved so that the town could take those funds and had to do something very specific with them. The town came up with a list of things last year to address those funds too. And those were finally agreed to by the state, and in an effort to show the state that we are in good faith working due diligence with our due diligence to execute on using those funds appropriately, we have got to create a plan of attack.
That wasn't the state asking for that, that was the state verifying that.
The state,
what we have.
correct,
Okay.
correct.
Okay, and how much is left in that fund? Was that the total amount that was on the,
The total amount, yes.
Okay.
That account has been closed,
okay, just wanted to, because we don't have the audits from the last few years. That-
correct.
The last audit showed that that was when it was done in December of that year, 2022. So there's no amounts and stuff like that, so I'm just curious. Okay,
Correct. That final amount was the amount that was settled upon.
okay, yeah, okay, thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, very good. Let's move on then, Madam Clerk. Do we have correspondence tonight?
We do have two pieces of correspondence from Carson Power, and those will be added to the written comment for the battery storage public hearing.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. To that point, then, let's move to resolutions.
Resolution of Town of Wallkill adopting a local law placing stop signs at the intersection of Webb Road and South Street. Whereas the town of Wallkill wishes to amend section 233-4 of the town code relating to the placement of stop signs on Webb Road at the intersection of South Street. And whereas the town code scheduled a public hearing for August 27th, 2026 at 7:25, which was duly opened on that date, at which all wishing to be heard were heard, and at which the board determined to hold the public hearing open for 10 days for any written comment. And whereas the attached draft local law has been prepared and the town board deems it to accomplish its intent. Therefore, hereby resolved, town board of the town of Wallkill as follows. One, the proposed local law entitled local law providing replacement of stop signs on Webb Road at the intersection of South Street is hereby introduced for consideration and shall be placed on the desks of the members of the town board. Two, the proposed local law entitled local law providing for placement of stop signs on Webb Road at the intersection of South Street is hereby adopted subject to a 10-day period, which shall sit unchanged on the desks of the town board members. And three, unless directed otherwise by the town supervisor, the town clerk is hereby directed to file the local law with the Secretary of State no sooner than September 7th, 2026. Have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Coyne,
Yes.
Mr. Solaire.
Yes.
Mr. Vanilla,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes, ma'am.
Supervisor DeNozo.
Yes, ma'am.
Resolution of town of Baltimore appointing person to full-time to account clerk typist for the accounting department, whereas there exists a vacancy in the town of Baltimore for a full-time account clerk typist in the accounting department, and whereas to that Tabitha Davis fulfills the civil service requirements of knowledge, skills, and experience for the full-time account clerk typist position, and has been selected by the comptroller and deputy comptroller and approved by the county under helps. Whereas it's the opinion of the town board that the aforesaid person is qualified to fill said position. Hereby resolved, the town board of Wallkill hereby establishes the salary of a full-time account clerk typist position at $22.66 per hour effective September 8th, 2026, provided that all appropriate documentation is submitted and accepted by the Orange County Department of Human Resources Civil Service. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Coyne.
Yep.
Mr. Solaire.
Yes.
Mr. Vanilla,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, Mr.
Resolution of town of Baltimore authorizes the transfer of funds. Hereby resolved, the town board hereby accepts the donation of the amount of $12,100 from the town of Baltimore Police Community Council, check number 22620 for the National Night Out. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Coyne,
Yes.
Mr. Solaire,
Yes.
Mr. Vanilla,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Supervisor DeNozo.
Yes, ma'am.
Resolution of town of Baltimore voting by person to a full-time principal account clerk for the accounting department. Whereas there exists a vacancy in the town of Wallkill for a full-time principal account clerk for the accounting department. And whereas Desiree Nesbit fulfills the civil service requirements of knowledge, skills, and experience for the full-time principal account clerk position, and has been selected by the comptroller. And whereas it's the opinion of the town board that the aforesaid person is qualified to fill the position. Therefore, hereby resolved, the town will hereby establishes the salary of the full-time principal account clerk position at $34.21 per hour, effective August 17, 2026, provided that the appropriate documentation is submitted and accepted by the Orange County Department of Human Resources and Civil Service. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Coyne.
Yep.
Mr. Solaire.
Yes.
Mr. Midland.
Yes, ma'am.
Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Supervisor Devances.
Yes, ma'am.
Resolution of town of Wallkill transferring funds from the general fund to the golf fund. Whereas from January 1, 2016 through July 31, 2026, the golf fund has accumulated the amount of $1,529,621.97 due to the general fund, the interfund loan. And whereas the interfund loan is not expected to be repaid within a reasonable time. And whereas governmental accounting standards board's codification section 1800.102 provides that the balances of interfund loans that are not expected to be repaid within a reasonable time should be reduced, and the amount is not expected to be repaid should be reported as a transfer from the fund and made the loan to the fund that received the loan. Now therefore be it resolved, the town comptroller is authorized and directed to reduce the balance of the interfund loan to zero and reclassify the interfund loan as a $1,529,621.97 transfer from the general fund to the golf enterprise fund. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Coyne.
Yes.
Mr. Solaire.
Yes.
Mr. Midland.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Supervisor Devances.
Yes, ma'am.
Resolution of the town of Wallkill authorizing the repurchase and sale of certain grave sites at the Williamsburg Cemetery. Whereas the town of Wallkill presently the owner and operator of the Williamsburg Rural Cemetery located within the town of Wallkill at Williamsburg Road on tax lot section 1, block 1, lot 59, and section 1, block 1, lot 58.11, the cemetery. And whereas the current owners of grave sites known as plot 84, grave sites 1 and 2, Lawrence and Kathy Oren, the owners, wish to sell the aforesaid grave sites back to the town and indicated so by a correspondence dated July 27, 2026. And whereas the town board is willing to authorize the repurchase of the grave sites with the amount of $1,790.46, as the town has been advised by Michael Robbins, the current manager of the cemetery, that he has received inquiries from individuals interested in purchasing the grave sites. Now, as the town board believes it's in the best interest of cemetery operations to repurchase and subsequently authorize the sale of the grave sites. And whereas in accordance with New York State Not-for-Profit Corporation Law Section 1513C, the owners have offered the sale of the grave site back to the cemetery corporation. And whereas the grave sites were purchased on or about April 8, 2014, for the total sum of $600 per grave site, and pursuant to the statutory buyback formula mandated by the New York State law, original purchase price plus 4% simple interest, and the calculation for the legal buyback price as of July 2026 is as follows: original purchase amount $1,200, accrued simple interest $590.46, total statutory buyback price $1,790.46. Resolved, the town supervisor is designated hereby authorized and directed to execute any and all documents necessary to purchase and or sell the grave sites. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Coyne.
Yes.
Mr. Solaire.
Yes.
Mr. Liddell.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Supervisor Devances.
Yes, ma'am.
Resolution of town of Wallkill authorizing the supervisor to execute an amendment to the contract of sale to purchase real property in the town. Whereas the town of Wallkill is presently in contract to purchase the real property known as Pine Lane / Meyer Road within the town, also known as tax map number section 13, block 2, lots 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23. with a sum of $350,000. Resolved, the town board of the town of Wallkill hereby authorizes the town supervisor as designated to execute and deliver the Annex First Amendment to the contract of sale with respect to the acquisition of real property known as Pine Lane Meyer Road within the town, also known as tax map section 13, block 2, lots 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 23, which amendment shall be acceptable to the special counsel to the town handling this matter. I have a motion.
So moved.
Second for discussion. I just want to point out, this is something we've been working on for a couple of, actually almost years now. It was a 21 lot subdivision the town is able to purchase and keep as open property as opposed to 21 houses. It also gives us access to a piece of property we own along the Kill. So this gives us frontage to the Kill, so we can end up eventually having some sort of like angler park where you can go to, fish and so forth. And the best part of this is we were able to get a grant from the county to cover half the cost. So it's not the full cost to us, it's only half that amount. And that actually included in that grant, it included the subdivision, the engineering and the other stuff. So we got about 180,000 from the grant. So that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. That's good.
Mr. Coyne,
Yes.
Mr. Solayo,
Yes.
Mr. Vanilla,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes, ma'am.
Supervisor Denato.
Yes, ma'am.
Resolution to Town of Wallkill establishing project HCD Circle Drive Park improvements. Whereas the town of Wallkill received a letter dated August 11, 2026 from the New York State Division of Housing and Community Renewal, authorizing the town's use of housing authority funds to finance the installation of new ADA accessible playground structure with 2 swing sets, rubber surfacing, and concrete sidewalk at Circle Drive Park improvements. And whereas the housing authority funds are currently accounted for in the general fund, and whereas the town commissioner of public works has recommended that the project be established with a project budget of $481,700 to cover the cost of the Circle Drive Park improvements. And whereas there is a current balance of $481,732.40 available in the interest-bearing general fund housing authority bank account, now therefore be it resolved, project HCD 2026 Circle Drive Park improvements is established, and further resolved that the town comptroller is authorized and directed to transfer $481,732.40 plus any additional accrued interest from the general fund to the project, and to amend the 2026 general fund adopted budget and the project budget each in the amount of $481,732.40 plus accrued interest as follows. And then you'll see where you're taking it from and where you're putting it back. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion real fast. We're allowed to use this housing money for a park?
Yes.
Yes.
When did we start talking about this? You got a letter on August 11th.
Mr. Frank, who's been instrumental in this conversation from the get-go, would you like to approach the
Sure.
dais and
Sure.
help Mr. Coyne remember?
Good evening, everyone. I wasn't planning on addressing the board tonight, but nice to see everyone. This money, did that resolution say this was a grant in
It
the
doesn't-
whereas?
Just as,
Where it says the top?
no, it does not say anything about a grant.
Okay, this was, the board may recall, this process started with the dissolution of the Wallkill Housing Authority. And the funds in the Wallkill Housing Authority accounts amounted to approximately $500,000. And we had been working with DHCR, Division of Housing and Community Renewal, on what they would consider to be approved projects for these funds. They had to be, you'll recall, we had a list of things that we could either use it for senior purposes or community, food bank, these types of things, parks. And one of the things they approved was the use of this money for playground equipment and establishing that equipment and installing it in parks. And that's where the money was approved, and that's where it's going to at this time. That's what they.
So it was always in there, Will?
Yeah.
That we could do parks?
Well,
All right.
handicapped, accessible.
I didn't pick up on that. Okay.
Yes,
Good
so it
enough.
was there and that was recently approved with the help of Michelle and John Dolly getting quotes for equipment and making sure that it was acceptable to everyone. So now DHCR is signed off, the town can go forward, move the money from, it's in a segregated account, which is still under the name of Wallkill Housing Authority. I guess in the budget, it's in general fund, but there's a segregated account. That money needs to be moved to specific project accounts so everything can be paid for when the time comes. But that's a story.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Frank.
okay, folks.
Madam Clerk?
Mr. Coyne.
Yes.
Mr. Solaire.
Yes, thanks.
Mr. Vanilla.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Supervisor Demoto.
Yes, ma'am.
Resolution to Town of Buffalo establishing project CC Community Center improvements. Whereas the Town of Buffalo received a letter dated August 11, 2026 from New York State Division of Housing and Community Renewal, authorizing the town's use of housing authority funds to finance the procurement and installation of new security cameras at the community center improvements. And whereas the housing authority funds are currently accounted for in the general fund, and whereas the town commissioner of public works has recommended that the project be established with a project budget of $29,000 to cover the cost of the community center improvements. Now therefore be it resolved that the project HC 2026 community center improvements is established. Further be resolved that the town comptroller is authorized and directed to transfer $29,000 from the general fund to the project and to amend the 2026 general fund adoption budget and the project budget as follows. And then you'll see there where you're taking the money from them. Any motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Coyne.
Yes.
Mr. Solaire.
Yes.
Mr. Vanilla.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Supervisor Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Resolution of Town of Walpole introducing a local law relating to noise produced by dogs owned or harbored by persons within the town. Whereas the town board of the Town of Walpole wishes to amend section 70-5 of the town code relating to noise produced by dogs owned or harbored by persons within the town. And whereas the attached draft local law has been prepared and will be subject of the adjourned public hearing after appropriate seasoning on the desks of the town board members. Therefore hereby resolved. Town of Wallkill as follows. One, a public hearing will be held by the town board on September 24th, 2026 at 7:25 p.m. with respect to amending section 70-5 of the town code as noted above and to the form attached hereto, and the town clerk is hereby authorized and directed to close public notice of said hearing to be given as provided by law, and the proposed local law entitled Local Law Relating to Noise Produced by Dogs Owned or Harbored by persons within the town is hereby introduced for consideration and placed on the desks of the town members of the town board. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Coyne.
Yes.
Mr. Solaire.
Yes.
Mr. Vanilla.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson. Supervisor Demoto.
Yes.
Yes.
Resolution of Town of Walker introducing a local law prohibiting the parking, standing, or stopping of certain commercial vehicles and CDL vehicles on any street or highway within the town of Walker. Whereas the town board of the Town of Walker finds that the parking, standing, or stopping of commercial vehicles and vehicles requiring a commercial driver's license on town streets and highways contributes to traffic congestion, impairs visibility for motorists, cyclists, and pedestrians, complicates snow and ice removal, interferes with emergency response, and adversely affects the residential character and quality of life in town neighborhoods. And whereas the town board is authorized to adopt traffic and parking regulations on town highways and to the extent applicable on other roadways within the town's jurisdiction pursuant to applicable provisions of the New York Vehicle and Traffic Law and the town law, and to amend the town code to reflect such regulations. Further resolved, the town board shall hold a public hearing on said proposed local law to receive comment from the public on September 24, 2026 at 7:25 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the agenda permits in the Wallkill Town Hall, 99 Tower Drive, Wallkill, New York. Be further resolved that the clerk publish and closely publish a public notice in the official newspaper, of the town of Wallkill, said public hearing at least 5 days prior thereto. And further resolved, the town clerk shall deliver a copy of the proposed local law to the town of both the highway department, Department of Public Works, building inspector, and police chief. We have a motion?
So moved.
Second for discussion, quick.
Yep.
So, really tonight is the first time I'm actually seeing this. I know we've been discussing it and we trimmed down the original one to like about a page, which is, much easier to palette. But I do have a couple of questions still. Basically, I think, what we're changing, because we currently have anything over 25 feet not permitted within the town. We're gonna go to 14 feet from 25. And then we have detached trailer larger than 12 feet. And not prohibited for greater than 4 hours during the day or overnight. My only concern with that, 12-foot trailer is a small utility trailer too, right? So if you have a car trailer that's 16, 18, 20 feet. I know a lot of contractors who have box trucks that keep their equipment in, or, 18-foot trailers that they have all their stuff in. So if they pull up to your house to work on your kitchen or redo your bathroom, they're gonna be parked in, just like if you live in Scotchtown, you don't have a big driveway, they're gonna be parked in the street for the whole day that they're working on your house. So I think the 4 hours, we might want to consider changing that possibly to 8 or 10 hours. And the 14 feet, I mean, I don't understand why we're going down from 25, but those would be my concerns. And then the trailer larger than 12, again, I just don't think 12 is large enough. So I guess I would be saying for you guys to consider, increasing the number of hours from 4 to 8 or possibly 10, and leaving the 25-foot law that's in there, not having the 14. And then, the trailer, I don't even know, I guess I would just be included in the 25 feet with the vehicle, right? So I don't know. I mean, like if you have a piece of equipment and you're gonna haul it to someone's house, you're gonna park the lowboy in the street, and you're gonna unload the dozer or the excavator or something. And if you're gonna work there for more than 4 hours, that is gonna stay there with cones. Or like, how many times have you seen the landscaper on the side of the road with the cones out and they got their lawnmowers out, they're mowing someone's lawn, right? So I mean, I just think we gotta think of those people too, in this. So those are my comments.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Coyle?
Yep.
Mr. Saleha?
Yes.
Mr. Vanilla? Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Supervisor Gendonto?
Yes.
Yes.
Resolution of Town of Wallkill appointing a person to full-time dispatcher for the police department. Whereas there exists a vacancy in the town of Wallkill for full-time dispatcher for the police department, and whereas Michael Source and Megan Collins fulfill the civil service requirements of knowledge, skills, and experience for full-time dispatch position and have been selected by the chief, whereas in the opinion of the town board, that the aforesaid persons are qualified to fill said positions. Resolved, the town of Wallkill hereby establishes the salary of full-time dispatcher position at $30.67 per hour, effective August 31st, 2026. They have both been here since 2024 as part-time dispatchers, so they will begin on a third-year step, provided that all appropriate documentation is submitted and accepted by the Orange County Department of Human Resources Civil Service. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Coyne,
Yes.
Mr. Saleha,
Yes.
Mr. Vanilla,
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Supervisor Gendonto.
Yes.
Resolution of Town of Wallkill consenting to the assignment of a construction inspection agreement with the Patel multifamily subdivision project. Whereas the town of Wallkill is presently a party to a certain construction inspection agreement dated October 16th, 2025 with SKR Development LLC with respect to the project known as Patel multifamily subdivision on Silver Lake Scotchtown Road. And whereas the owner is in the process of selling the real property which constitutes the project site and has requested that the tenant consent to the assignment of the construction inspection agreement to the purchasers of real estate to wit 50 Silver Scotch LLC, 60 Silver Scotch LLC, and 70 Silver Scotch LLC. Pursuant to the said agreement, and whereas the town board has no objection to the assignment of the construction inspection agreement, provided that the new owners assume all responsibilities and obligations of the owner under the agreement and execute all the necessary documents confirming their assumption of said responsibilities. Therefore, hereby resolved that the town of Wallkill hereby approves the assignment of the construction inspection agreement with respect to the Patel multifamily subdivision from SKR Development LLC to 50 Silver Scotch LLC, 60 Silver Scotch LLC, and 70 Silver Scotch LLC, and authorizes the town supervisor as designated to execute any and all documents necessary to implement the intent of this resolution, including but not limited to consent to assignment of construction inspection agreement and formal content acceptable to the town attorney. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Coyne.
Yes.
Mr. Solaire.
Yes.
Mr. Vanilla.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Supervisor Devoto.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it all?
Did have one more.
It was one, at least one.
Sorry. Resolution town of Gulf authorizing an FMLA leave and personnel adjustment. Whereas a party presently serving in the town as a title administrative supervisor has requested leave for reasons which qualify under town policy and state and federal law. The employee on leave based on records known to and kept by the town in support of the resolution. Whereas the additional compensation required by this personnel decision can be covered by a stipend of $1,000 per month added to the temporary appointee's present compensation until the return of the employee on leave. Therefore, be it resolved that the FMLA leave or employee on leave is hereby approved to the temporary assumption of the duties of administrative supervisor until the employee on leave return for the temporary appointee is hereby approved. And 3, the compensation of $1,000 per month as a stipend paid to the temporary appointee in addition to the present compensation and a stipend on a prorated basis until the employee on leave's return is hereby approved. And motion,
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Coyne,
Yes.
Mr. Solaire,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Supervisor Devoto.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. This brings us to our third and final public participation. This is an opportunity for anyone in the audience right now to speak to the dais on any topic in front of the town currently. Again, we ask that you be respectful of the 3-minute time frame and come and let us know who you are and where you live.
Good evening. Arthur Doyle, D-O-Y-L-E, 2 Denton Avenue, D-E-N-T-O-N Avenue, town of Wallkill. I appreciate the board allowing me this opportunity to speak. It's my first time here, and I must say I'm impressed. Very, 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 very impressive. I will be brief. My wife and I moved up from the city in October of 1973. We raised 4 children. And it was a great place to raise a family, the environment, the neighbors, and the safety. We always felt they were quite safe. My wife and I still agree today, 2026, the town of Wallkill is still a great place to raise a family. Matter of fact, you look out there, it seems like there's a lot of young people coming up, and there's lots of kids. Except I feel, and my neighbors where I live feel the same way, automobile safety is not the same as it used to be. Okay, and there's one particular road that I want to mention, Highview Drive. And just for a point of reference, Goshen Turnpike, you got the fire station up there, fire station number 2. Now, if you turn your look towards Circleville, 1 block up on the left is Highview Drive. And they call it Highview for a good reason. It's way up there and it runs downhill. There are 5 intersecting roads, Lorianne, McIntosh, Denton, Morningside, Crabapple, and it finishes down at the bottom of Scott Drive. I'm telling you what I've been seeing for a while, and my neighbors, we're all in on this. People aren't going down that hill 40, 50 miles an hour. They're going down 60 miles an hour. And there's something bad is going to happen. Something I think has to be done. My suggestion right now is that if we could get speed bumps along the way, and I hope that you consider
that these could be installed, because something is going to happen. You've got kids out there coming off the streets on their bicycles, they're on their roads, their roller skates. A lot of people walk their dogs on Highview, and I think it's just a matter of time. So that's pretty much what I have to say. And the last thing I'd like to say before I scoot out of here, could the board tell me, what are you going to do about the safety for our kids and our neighbors on Highview Drive?
So I'll just start. The first step in that process, we have a speed trailer. So we'll install the speed trailer that records the time and the infraction. So we get an idea of how many vehicles and the speed they were going. There's no like plate reader or anything like that. But it does record all that data. Then we download it and that prepares a report that says, maybe from 2 to 4 every day, there was X amount of vehicles that were going this speed. The next step would be then enforcement from the chief, where we would put like vehicles there to issue tickets. And, if it's severe enough, that's when we would go to the next step. And there is a process online, fill out for the speed humps. Because there's a lot of requirements that have to be met in order to put them in. I think our commissioner could speak about that more than I could. But the first step is the speed trailer, so we can certainly do that.
So with the speed bumps, would that require a certain amount of signatures to bring it to the board to recommendation?
Yes, will require the signature. Yes, it will require signatures of everybody that lived on that road
Good,
and
okay.
the adjacent roads.
I don't think that would be a problem.
We have all policy online, certainly, just click on it and look at that, or I'd be happy to email it to you, whatever's more convenient for you.
I appreciate that.
Sure.
Thank you.
I just want to say a couple of quick words about this particular board's focus on safety, specifically traffic safety, since I've been here now coming on 9 months. We focused a lot on automobile safety in the town lately in those 9 months, and I can tell you that there's been a tremendous uptick in requests for speed humps and stop signs and speed reductions.
They work, yeah.
We are hyper focused on that, and we have actually in a couple of different occasions addressed that by speed reductions on roads that the town has control over, and of course actively creating opportunities like this portal so that residents like yourself can cut directly to the quick and start getting answers immediately from the board, from the town itself. So we are aware that there is a growing traffic concern in town. That certainly has something to do with the amount of volume of individuals here in town, which is both a good thing, but also a little bit of a mixed blessing, because some of those individuals do think that they drive professionally for a living. So anyway, my point is that we hear you and we're hyper focused on trying to address it in a real way.
Thank you.
And if I may add, thank you, Mr. Doyle, for your appearance this evening. I'm a neighbor and also represent that district, and have brought it to the chief's attention. Other neighbors on Highview have brought to my attention that there may be ring camera video. Are you one of those who might have that?
No.
Of any offenders? Okay. Not that it would be
I still have-
sufficient.
I still have a cell phone, a flip phone.
Flip phone? Okay, fair enough.
Switch.
So if I may have a moment with you after the proceeding so that we can correlate getting the signatures, but also then soliciting some of those neighbors who might have saved anybody else.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Ron Novak, 44 Juniper Circle, Wildflower. Just so you know, I'm a newest member of the Wildflower HOA board, but I am not here tonight speaking for the board. I wanted to bring to the board's attention, if they don't already know, that no one in Wildflower has received a water bill this past billing cycle. The bills were apparently lost by the post office or lost in some other way. My problem is not with the fact that we didn't get bills. My problem is with whatever the protocol is for redressing the situation, that many residents in Wildflower received outlandish bills. My own bill was double what has been the norm for me in the 12 years that I've lived here. Other residents have seen bills that are way beyond what their normal usage. I was told that the reason my bill was escalated was that my previous billing cycle was estimated and it was underestimated. how can you underestimate a bill that has a 12-year history? That's a question for the water department. So I was told that that's why my bill is so large. I'm making up for the water that I was not billed for. I spoke to a neighbor earlier today who was told that the excess that she was charged is going to be credited towards her bill for the next billing cycle. Another resident told me that their bill was adjusted at the payment window by the clerk. So I am wondering, how is this going to be redressed in our community? Do we need to canvass the entire community and find out how many residents? I've talked to about 10% of the residents, and many of them have seen the same, are in the same situation. Their bills are just completely out of whack with their normal usage. I have spoken to the commissioner. He was gracious enough to speak with our property manager, urging people to telephone him, and he is looking up the records. I don't know if this is a metering problem with, I know we have new meters. I don't know if this is a personnel problem in the water department office, but if you're gonna redress it one way for me, you should redress it the same way for everybody else. Basically, I feel, then this is not a lot of money, but I feel I'm being penalized because you, the water department, underestimated my usage when they knew perfectly well exactly what my usage was. So I would like the board to look into this and to see if we can come up with some kind of a fair solution so that we don't have to do this in the next billing cycle. And hopefully the bills will actually get mailed.
Can I just ask you, do you have one of the new meters that we're installing?
Absolutely.
So it's the new meter that generated a different charge in the water amount compared to the old one?
I was
Is that
told
correct?
that the new meters are absolutely accurate and that this was an actual usage bill.
Okay, I was just curious if you had like a new
But
meter.
I'm being asked to pay for what I wasn't billed for in the last billing cycle. If the water department underestimated me, that's their error. That's not mine. I don't see why I should be penalized for that. And this is probably the same story with many other residents who were shocked by their water bills. So,
Certainly, Mr. Novak, thank you so much for bringing that to our attention.
thank you.
Absolutely. Madam Commissioner, maybe you can speak to that when we get there. Thank you.
Jim Moore again, 54 Fairlawn. I should have brought it up last month, but the town court for the second quarter from April, May, and June, they had 3,845 cases, so our courts are still busy. The term limit referendum, that was sent to the Board of Elections, and can we get the actual wording that's going to be on the ballot? In fact, even better if it could be posted on the website, so everybody's just aware of just the wording of it. And to remember to, when they vote, remember to vote, but also remember to turn it over and stuff, so that'd be good. And then the Board of Elections can always use poll workers. Right now, they're doing training for poll workers. So it's always good to have, people complain about voting and stuff. Instead of being part of the problem, they can be part of the solution and become a poll worker, for early voting or election day too, stuff. They can just reach out to the Board of Elections. They're doing it from now until about the first week of October. Okay, and our Kroll Library, they do have a vote themselves. They have their budget every year. They have a vote. It's on October 6th at Kroll Library. So if you're interested in that stuff, get out and vote. It's good to be able to exercise all these civic duties. And then the other thing too is our next audit that I talked about the 2022. 2023 should be coming up soon, right? When it does come out, I had a FOIA, the past ones. Is that going to be published on the?
Yes.
Okay.
That'll be published.
And it'll probably just be under the accounting department.
It will be under the accounting department, but you'll also be able to see it on the state has an AFR report that you can download, so you'll be able to get it there as well.
Okay, all right, when FOIA is done. Okay, and that should be probably next. I know they have to keep going back and correcting things so they can have a good audit.
We have had to make a number of corrections. It's true. The projected plan right now is at the end of the month, at the end of September. Sorry if I keep forgetting that we're still in August.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
a few more weeks then. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Supervisor Vendanto and Town Board Council members. My name is Eric Anderson. I'm a developer at Carson Power, located at 39 Broadway, New York, New York. We're proud to have previously developed the Fair Oak Solar Project on 17K, and we have 2 battery storage projects that are ready to distribute reliable electric power around the clock to the town. One on Westmoreland Drive and the other off Shut Road. As a stakeholder in the town's ongoing review of a new law further regulating battery storage, I'm here tonight to submit a comment for the board's consideration while the public hearing period remains open. I want to quickly say that me and my team sincerely appreciate the board's thoughtful review of the new law, the research and work that's gone in to date. Our last opportunity to engage you in discussions was at the July work session. The supervisor kindly invited us to attend. And at that meeting, I listened closely and heard 2 things clearly. First, how significant are the savings that battery storage projects like ours really provide? And second, what does the actual real world data tell us about the risk of an incident? Carson took those questions seriously, and since then, me and my team went to work reviewing Orange and Rockland reports, rate case documents, publicly available data sets produced and maintained by credible independent organizations like the Electric Power Research Institute to get answers for you. In short, the data is compelling, findings are significant. Submitted 2 documents for your review, and I just want to take a moment of your time to briefly summarize what we found. First, on affordability, Orange and Rockland's delivery and supply costs for residential customers increased 33% between 21 and 2025. That's represents $454 in additional costs for homeowners in Wallkill per year. Year over year increases are like 13 to 14% right now. And electricity is increasingly something that many families are struggling to afford. While the town board can't control fuel prices, the wholesale market, or utility rates approved by the PSC, it can determine whether resources that are ready to help reduce costs for Wallkill ratepayers are built here. And battery storage is one of the few ways to actually address this problem, as it is unique in curbing costs on both the delivery and supply sides of people's electric bills. Simply put, if Carson's 2 battery storage projects are not installed, ratepayers will be forced to absorb $44 million in costs over the next 20 years. And it's a little over $2 million every year. The second document we submitted highlights the exceptionally low risk of battery storage incidents like fires. Our analysis shows that since 2018, incident rates have dropped 99%. The worldwide incident rate in 25 was 0.014%. And 2 things about that. It includes rates broader than fires, and it represents all battery storage technologies globally. So you're looking at different technologies and vintages, most of which wouldn't actually meet the rigor of the New York State Fire Code. Carson's projects in Wallkill utilize Tesla Megapack 2 XLs. Exceptional safety record. We estimate there's 26,000 units deployed. There's 0 reports of fires anywhere in the Institute's global record. That's the type of tech that we're ready to bring to Wallkill, and it's the standard the town should expect from the projects that are developed here. I just want to thank you guys for taking this topic seriously. I personally believe Carson's 2 projects present an opportunity to the town that it deserves, and it also can't afford to miss. I respectfully ask that the board consider inviting us back to a future work session where we might be able to discuss these findings in greater detail. And we hope to continue investing in Wallkill and developing high quality infrastructure here for the benefit of those who live and do business. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Eric.
Thank you.
Hello, Lisa Lusher, Tice Lane, Middletown, New York. I think most of you probably already know why I'm here. I'm here, this is probably like 10, 12, 15 meetings trying to advocate for the cats in my neighborhood. My neighbor has started a colony of cats who are not spayed, they're not neutered, they're not vaccinated, they're spreading disease. I've been begging this town for help for many years. You've ignored me for years. Don't tell me, you're telling people that you've only known about the cats for 2 months. You've known about the cats for
That's not what I tell people.
well, you've known.
No,
for years and
we can
nobody's
set the
like-
record straight. Let's set the record straight, okay?
It's straight.
You were coming here, right? And George was the one who was going to handle it. It never happened.
Your
I
money,
took, hang on, I'm not, I took the reins in what, February? We passed the law when, in April?
Okay, so where's the help for these cats?
The money is coming from New York State,
Yes, I
okay?
spoke to
So,
somebody.
so the fact that you, run around bad mouthing me,
Bad mouth
yes, you
you.
do.
That is not true.
Yes, you
That is a
do.
lie. That is a lie.
All right,
Okay,
whatever,
that's a lie.
whatever. Listen, the
Anyway,
law is
this is-
passed, the money is supposed to be coming, I don't know, you could ask Frank about the money, but
Well, sir, your first recommendation to me was for the town to come out and put poison out. I had to let you know that was illegal. I don't know if that was some kind of joke
No,
or
no,
something
that
like
was,
that.
no.
Yes, it,
Not, that
okay,
was not my
yes.
recommendation. That was
Yes,
absolutely not my
yes.
recommendation.
Well, maybe not a recommendation, but that's what you said was gonna happen. You said the town is.
No, I absolutely didn't say that either.
You said the town is not gonna come out and trap these cats one at a time. It may be a matter of putting out some poison. Exact words, okay?
We can agree to disagree on that. I absolutely didn't say those words.
Yes, you did. I'm standing right here and I'm saying that you did. It's been 7 years since this has been going on. I've been grabbing cats out of my yard left and right and spending my own money and getting, this year alone, in April, I got 2 moms and a total of 11 kittens off the streets and into homes. With help of a couple friends that were able to foster for me and help these cats, on their journey. And then I spoke to some girls at the Humane Society who were kind enough to volunteer and come over and help me trap, and we got 20 more in 2 nights. Spayed and neutered and back. But they're back out on the street, these 20, and this can't be because they're not treated for worms, they're not treated for parasites, they're not treated for distemper. They could still be spreading disease, and not only that, but they're living a life of shit. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. It's winter's coming. You know how it is with the cats outside. It's cold, they have nowhere to go, and they're still reproducing. There's a dead kitten in my yard the other day. I spend 2 hours at the end of every week cleaning cat crap out of my yard. That's really hard to pick up because, like I said, they're all not treated for parasites and worms, so it's a mess to clean up. It's not like somebody's pet who's well taken care of. Cats need help. And it's not really gonna cost a lot of money. Maybe somebody that works for the town can take a few hours out of a week, a couple times, and try to locate some sanctuaries that are willing to take in a cat here, or 2 cats, or 3 cats. And we can get volunteers from the Humane Society to come back and help trap them. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It just takes people who are willing to do it. I'm the only one doing it. It's just me by myself and I can't do it anymore. So what are we gonna do? It doesn't take a lot of money, like I said. Plus, I spoke to Paula Kay's office, and this was back in the early June, and she said the money is here, it's available, I approved it. How come I don't see anybody trying to, even spend a couple dollars? But like I said again, you don't even have to spend the money. You don't have to spend the money. Just make some phone calls. People that are already working for this town can maybe take a couple hours and call. See who's willing to, and get volunteers to come to trap, to transport. The cycle has to stop or it's just gonna be out of control. There's over 50, 60 cats running the neighborhood. And when I say neighborhood, I mean my yard, the lady up the hill, that's it. It's a very rural street with lots of woods and they're just reproducing everywhere. And somebody, I don't know, what's the solution? I've been coming to the town for almost 7 years now.
So just to be clear, when you brought this to my attention, we did make huge efforts to move an attempt anyway to create a project and get that project funded. That occurred. Paula Kay was able to come to the table with $10,000 for the state, which, we're still waiting for money for the state. That's a thing. And we also have a situation in terms of staffing, since you were kind enough to bring that up, where we have an animal control officer who is out.
Yeah, but you know what? So was the animal control officer excuse. When I first started calling for help, I called the animal control officer that was here at the time. Her name was Melanie. You said you had her personal phone number, you're gonna call her and get help and let me know. I never hear back from you. I never hear back from you. I never hear back from you. She was out, she was on sick leave, her police are taking her calls, police can't help. That went on for like 2 or 3 years. And then you got the new guy, and now he was out. But it can't, is the animal control officer the only person that can help in this situation?
Yes, sadly, I hate to tell you that that's the reality, is that we have a single person who's employed specifically to deal with animals in the town. That individual is currently out.
I'm I heard
We
it
are
was-
actively replacing them. That's next on our
Oh, so we're
list.
still waiting then, which is, so the cats have no hope, it's just waiting and waiting and waiting. Cause I'm gonna go to the news as my next step, I'm gonna have to, because
Listen,
You know.
I understand your frustration. I
I
understand your connection. There's only so much that the town can do. I believe that the town,
anything,
well, that's not true. That's just blatantly not true.
I haven't seen anything in the almost 7 years, I have seen nothing.
Well, what you have seen in the last 4 months is you've seen a town go get funding for this project. Focus on this project, figure out a plan of attack
So what's
for
the
this
plan?
project. So the plan is to get an animal control officer in place and receive the funding from the state and begin to collect these animals and have them spayed and neutered,
And
as
do
we have
what-
discussed on countless times.
And do what with them? They cannot be put back outside. You cannot have 50 cats or more running the neighborhood spreading disease because you're gonna put them out.
I'm going to tell you that the law is clear on this. They have to be released again. That's just how that works. I can't take them in. The town can't take them in.
6 cats in the town of Wallkill on each person's property.
Well, that's what the code says.
The code is 5 or 6 cats and she's got
Of their own
50,
personal cat.
and that's okay.
That's the other part of this discussion, but since you've opened up that
Yes.
Pandora's box, I'm happy to address it. We now actually can identify the individual who might possibly be the source of this headache for you and your neighbors.
Basically.
Again, this is not a court of law, and I am not a police officer, and I cannot just
I have
take somebody's word for
Okay,
the.
I have a screenshot with her name on it from Facebook that somebody sent me, because I don't do all that social media crap, but apparently I'm gonna have to get advocacy for these cats, because nobody here is helping. But I have a Facebook post that somebody sent me with her name on it saying, does anybody know who hole punches the cat's ears when they're spayed and neutered? Because all my cats are coming home with holes punched in their ear. Because I take them to the vet and that's how they're marked, so that they don't have to be trapped again. And it's got her name on it, which means she's admitting that these are all her cats and she's allowing them to roam free, unspayed, unneutered.
This is the first that I'm hearing that there was a Facebook post.
Well, I have the.
Thank you, that's great. If you can provide it to us, I'll hand it to the chief, and once we have an animal control officer, the chief and the animal control officer can do what they need to do by
How
law.
many applications do you have? How long is it gonna take to hire somebody?
We're in the final round of application. I have a final candidate that just needs to be vetted by the board, that's it. At the end of the
Because, you
day,
know, everybody also keeps telling me, we're gonna contact you, we're gonna be in touch, we're gonna let you know what's going on. I never hear from anybody. Any of you guys never reach out and say, we're still working on it, we're still working on it.
I'm just gonna be honest to say that we speak to you regularly.
No, you don't, only when I reach out first.
And we speak to you regularly. You've been at every meeting so far. You've been at my teas. You've been to the town a number of times.
Just because I have to come forward first, I never hear from anyone, I never get a phone call or email or just a quick something saying we're still working on it, nothing.
I would have assumed that was obvious, but so I apologize to you for not, thank you very much for pointing that out to me. I will tell you, that the town took your complaint as well as your neighbor's complaint very seriously. In an effort to take that seriously, we did secure funding through the state to help stem this problem. We have a certain set of guidelines that we have to follow for that. And while we appreciate that this is the #1 priority for you, it sits in a very large pile of priorities for the town. At the end of the day, we are moving as quickly as we can. I'm sorry that it's not as fast as you would hope. I will tell you that your displeasure with us is not going to allow us to take our foot off the accelerator for whatever that's worth. And we will continue forward with the pledge that we made to you and your community and our community in terms of making this situation better. We passed legislation just recently on the cat ownership issue. You've seen more action. Hold on, let me finish, please. You've seen more action on this topic in the last 4 months than you have, in your own words, in years. So I understand that it's not moving at your pace, but please recognize it is in fact moving.
Well, I haven't seen anything because nobody's let me know.
Well, Paula Kay let you know that she got the money. So somebody let you know. You've spoken to the clerk, you've spoken to my office, you've spoken to me.
And gotten nowhere.
You're not getting nowhere, you're getting somewhere. This is the process. It takes this time.
You got the legislation, how come I didn't hear about that? Where am I supposed to?
I'm not sure. You were
heard about
here.
it, you heard about it when they had the opening at the
golf
humane,
club.
yeah,
You said you were working on it.
But
and that it was going to be passed at the very next meeting,
And it
to
was.
which you replied that it wasn't quick enough.
And there's also public notice of all the public hearings on local laws. Well, it's typically, well, not typically, it's always posted in the newspaper of record and on the town's website. So do they print any paper? But yes, yes, they all get.
And how often is it in the paper? Every day?
I mean, you know that process, but I think it's just posted.
It's posted in, it's sent to the Times Record for publishing. If it's not a zoning change, then has to be within 5 days, but those notices were posted and they are on the website. And if I could just add something,
Yeah.
Supervisor,
Absolutely, please.
I have tried to help you, and I know you say that I don't call you back, but I recently had a conversation with a woman who is very involved with trapping cats. I haven't called you yet about that because we had sent the information back to Wallkill's office. I believe that is a grant, and Mrs. Baker can probably elaborate on that. That's a grant that they're going to front us, I believe, Michelle, a certain percentage of the money, and then the rest of the money we get once we spend it.
Yes.
Like the supervisor said, we don't have anybody right now to go out and do that. If we did, I'm sure it would be happening.
What, trapping?
I've spoken to, and I don't know if you know, Mrs. Stewart, who is with the Dumped and Stray.
Yes.
She was in my office the other day. We gave her a copy of the federal law. And she is willing to help with the problem.
She's already taken some from me, some that I've,
Yes.
moms and kittens I've
Yes.
grabbed and brought
And
into the
I
house,
you know,
I've taken some. But I mean, as the
just
days.
to defend myself, I mean, I've tried to help you and I feel that I've been,
Yeah, but how come I don't hear from you, so I know that something's going on in the background, because I spoke to you a month ago at the last meeting. and
well,
you said
I'll
within
start
2
making a
within
note,
2
but
weeks.
and I don't wanna be one of those people that says, you know, but if you saw the stuff that's on my desk and I know, listen, I'm the biggest cat lover probably in the town of Wallkill. And if I could personally go out and trap those cats, I would. I've dealt with Mrs. Friedel, I'm dealing with Robert Stewart. I feel that I've been completely upfront with you.
I don't see that. I mean,
Okay.
maybe you're working behind the scenes, like I said, nobody lets me know anything that's going
We're
on.
working behind the scenes, and as soon as they get an animal
Because
control
it's-
officer.
Makes me like this inside, you know, because these cats are just dying in my yard. It's an awful situation and they're suffering.
I understand.
And I can't live like that anymore. I hate this town for this, for allowing this to go on so long. And allowing these people to get away with it. Are they being fined? You know, what happens if one of them gets rabies and somebody gets bit? That's gonna be a lawsuit and that's gonna cost a lot more than, you know, collecting them and getting them help. So. anyway.
Again, we are actually doing as much as we possibly can, as quickly as we possibly can. I can appreciate that it's not on your timeline, but please recognize that please recognize 3 things. That was 2 thoughts, 3 things. Number 1, you have, in fact, had more engagement with the town over the last 4 months than you have had, in your own words, over many years. That's the very first thing that I'd like you to remember. That's the very first thing I'd like you to remember. The second thing I'd like you to remember is we have actually secured money, a plan, and now we're looking to secure an individual who will absolutely begin to help. And once that individual is in place, then we can address the legal issues that might be around, that we put in place, that were not in place 4 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago. We put those in place. So please understand that these things are happening in the background. And while we are not calling you on a daily basis to let you know that we're still thinking of you,
Call me on a daily basis.
I'm just saying to you, please recognize these things because they are happening.
Recognizing these things that you're saying, but
Okay,
you know,
good.
I'm recognizing them now that you're saying them, but nobody's letting me know anything.
I don't know what to say about that, except for that we've been saying these things for months.
No,
So
when I come to the meetings, you say them, and you also said to me in your own words, I guess we have to do a better job of keeping you informed in what we're working on. your exact words a couple months ago
That is
at
true.
another meeting.
That is true, and clearly this is an example, of where we've fallen short perhaps. And we will do our best to do better. But you must understand that this issue is a complicated issue, and you must acknowledge that you have had more interaction with this town board in a positive way, moving towards a solution than you have said. Yes, and I will continue as long as you continue to say that we're doing nothing. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Sure.
No. The June 25th meeting was about the feral cats. That was, excuse me, the June 25th meeting. If you can see, there's the thing about the feral cats, public notice. You can find it on the website, maybe you can get a copy printed off. On YouTube. But it's the June 25th, the meeting notes. I can even show you online.
Okay.
And that's the resolution. I mean, there's other, it takes time to get everything else going and stuff and the funding and everything, but that's the start.
Thank you very much.
It's just that.
That was the finish of it.
Yeah.
Because we had a public hearing.
Yes. Right. All right. Let's move on, shall we? Anybody else?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, very good. That brings us to the end of public participation section of this meeting. That will bring us to the department heads check-in. So let us start, shall we, with the commissioner, DPW. Commissioner. Oh, wait a minute. I just jumped over EMS. I apologize. I got a little bit sidetracked there. So just to back up a hair, our town of Wallkill EMS services, Josh Tate is going to walk us through our report for this month. Josh, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time. I'm here to cover the July performance report as well as the second quarter financial report.
Thank you.
So just as a reminder, refresh everyone, in case some of the members in the audience haven't been here for this before. Some of the terms that are a little bit important to help you understand kind of the context a little bit. There are several different call types that we'll talk about. So alpha, low acuity, no lights and sirens response. Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo are increasing in acuity as you get towards Echo. They are all lights and sirens responses. The contract with the town defines the response times and the thresholds that we are held to. So alpha responses, the lower threshold is 12 minutes and 59 seconds. We must meet that at an 80% reliability. The upper maximum threshold is 19 minutes and 59 seconds. And then responses that require lights and sirens, the lower threshold, the 80% threshold is 9 minutes and 59 seconds. And then the upper threshold, so max response time, is 14 minutes and 59 seconds. So on your second page, just a review of some of the general stats from July. We had a total of 589 in-district requests for the month. So that is calls for service in the town of Wallkill, an average of 19 per day. The total number of requests for our entire agency, so mutual aid requests, intercept requests from BLS agencies outside the town of Wallkill and in district, was 696. That pushed our average up to over 24 per day. So that's a 24-hour period. So we're now pushing over 1 per hour. The total number of responses for all districts was 696. So we actually responded to more than 22 calls per day. The busy high volume days for the month were July 9th, 15th, and 28th. 26 in-district requests, 24 and 24 respectively. We had a total of 30 requests on the 9th. So we were able to respond to all but 4 of those. Our average response time for no lights and sirens calls was 8.62 minutes. And then Bravo was 6.82 minutes, Charlie 5.58 minutes, Delta 6.58 minutes, Echo 4.34 minutes. As a reminder, Echo responses are things that are held for the most serious of responses. So known cardiac arrests, unconscious patients that are not breathing, things like choking, etc. you'll see the highlighted blue cells here on the page. You see that we're meeting, all the 80% markers there. So 87%, 86, 94, 86, and 100%. If you remove the outliers, which we'll cover in a little bit, if you remove the outliers from those percentages, they go up slightly for each category. If you consider all of our license sirens responses for the entire month, our average response time for all those is 6.15 minutes. And that, again, that's in district. So there were, the majority of the outliers this month were dropped calls that were a result of simultaneous calls in district. So high call volume in district. There were two that were time outliers. One was an alpha response. So again, no license sirens. It was out at the outer edge of the district in Ward 4. And then there was one, it was actually a car accident. There was a Bravo response where the responding department chose to move vehicles off the roadway to be safer, but the notification was not made to the county to update our units to respond. So that created a little bit of a delayed response there. And then the rest were, like I said, the rest were a result of high call volume in the district. Moving on to the financial report. To review some of these terms, this is the second financial report of the year. So charges, when you look at these charts, charges are billed services that are a result of rates established within service contracts, either through Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services, private insurances, government insurances, but these are the amounts that are billed to patients and patients' insurance companies. Payments are the actual payments and monetary funds that we receive either from insurances, governmental payers, so think VA, Medicare, et cetera, or patients themselves. Contractual allowances is a little bit of a mental gymnastic concept. Instead of what is allowed to be paid, it's actually what is not allowed to be paid. So it's in combination with what they consider to be normal and reasonable. They also have a contractual allowance that the service provider is not allowed to bill to the patient. So this is actually money that we do not expect to ever receive. Once these bills go through the billing cycle and the billing process, we know based on the payer and their contractual rates and their structures, we know that we expect not to receive that money. Quarterly reporting, all these metrics are based on posting date. So you have to look at when the charges and payments were actually posted to the billing cycle and not necessarily when that call actually happened. I know that's a lot. You guys have any questions on that?
I just have one.
Yep.
So the charge, let's just say 4.7 million.
Yep.
And with the contractual being 2.3, that's the money that you would not receive of that 4.7, is that correct?
Contractuals is off the bat. Once we run those bills and charges through the billing cycle to the individual insurance companies, we know based on that type of company, based on that type of insurance company, we expect not to receive that
Right,
2.3
not pay
automatic.
a certain amount. Or
Yep, because remember, the insurance companies get to decide what is fair and reasonable, not us. You need anything else to kind of.
No, just about half the money that,
Mhm.
insurance wouldn't pay is what I'm saying.
Right.
So,
The other important thing to note here that kind of helps you think about some of the difficulties of maintaining operational expenses as well as payroll is that this cycle is not within a 30-day cycle, right? So we provide the service on August 1st, we submit the bill goes to the insurance company. That cycle could be 90 to 120 days or even longer if there are denials, if there are appeals, stuff like that. So this process stretches on for quite some time. What else? No, okay. Just a couple things, Mr. Johnson pointed out or asked a question to get at one of the things I was gonna point out, but to clarify, write-offs would be things like if a person on a fixed income who has Medicare falls, can't get up, but doesn't really have any injuries, we come, we assess them, we do vitals, we provide a service to them, there is a bill generated. However, they call us and say, look, we're on a fixed income. We can't pay this bill. This bill is going to negatively affect our life. They can go through a hardship process because we're a nonprofit. And that is one of the things that's included in the write-offs, as well as things that we administratively don't expect to recover. So think one of the large categories in there are people who are either unhoused or homeless, depending on how you look at it, or people who are transient from state facility to state facility. So think someone who gets out of Orange County Jail for a short-term jail service is temporarily placed in the honors housing program in the city of Middletown. They walk to Walmart, have a medical problem. We take them to the hospital, provide a service, a bill is generated, but there's reasonably very little expectation that we are going to be able to collect on that because they're either uninsured, underinsured, or we just don't have an ability to contact them to get the correct information to follow up with that. So that kind of explains write-offs. And then you'll notice that the two tax district deposits totaled roughly 669,000 for the first 2 quarters. Approximately 650 that was already used for payroll. So there is that tax district deposit money is going to a really good cause, and we appreciate the fact that this has been made a sustainable organization because we're able to devote some of the other medical billing funds to operational expenses, liabilities, assets, expenses, stuff like that. So anybody have any other questions? Anybody back here have questions? No?
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we will slide over to our department heads' comments. Madam Commissioner.
Good evening. I guess I'll start with water and sewer. Unfortunately, the gentleman just left, but I explained some things too. We did have a problem with the billing for Wildflowers community. It was mailed. They appear to have been lost at the post office. We are communicating with them to see if we can resolve what happened to them. We're happy to speak with any individual that has a problem with their water bill. Rob Malgrowski is our water sewer superintendent. He has been speaking with the people in Wildflowers specifically, but anybody is welcome to call if they have any questions. We have to deal with everybody individually because their water use is different individually. We can't just across the board make a change in everybody's account. But we're happy to have those conversations. We have new meters. Some people have not changed their meters yet, and they are causing issues because we can't read those meters anymore. So that's why they're getting estimated bills. We can't really speak to why the estimated bill was low for that one gentleman or for all the people in Wildflowers. I'm not 100% sure, but we do have new billing clerks that are taking over billing, and we're hoping to get all this corrected before the next round of bills. But please, if anybody has any issues, please call us directly. We're happy to look at your account individually and see what we can do. If you do not have your meter changed, please call 1-888-448-0009 and schedule your meter change at no cost to you, and that will resolve a lot of metering issues. The water department's had some leaks that they repaired. They did so without much service interruption, so they were happy with that. The annual well rehab program is almost finished. It'll be done by the end of September. And the water levels are good in our wells, so we're pretty good shape so far. Highway department has just finished working with the county to repave Dunning Road. They had a water main break right after the county paved Dunning Road, so we worked with them to get that corrected and paved again. They're working on Excelsior Avenue for a community development block grant, so that should be done by October. They're getting ready for fireworks for tomorrow evening. And we have a light crew working this week to repair street lights that are out. And they're working with Orange and Rockland to take down a few trees that are involved in wires on Youngs Lane. And the Parks Department wanted us to know that the summer camp has ended, so the park is now fully open to everyone at Circleville. Remembering that please don't drive through Circleville Park, that's pedestrian traffic only. And they are currently repaving all the parking lot lines in all of our town-owned facilities. They're getting ready for the fireworks for tomorrow. And they're continuing with their mulch maintenance, mowing, all that sort of thing. And yeah, let's see, in year to date, they collected the Clean Streets gentlemen that work for us, 2 gentlemen that work 20 hours a week. Have collected 417 contractor bags of garbage off of our roads. And we were successful in securing a $50,000 grant to replace the floor at the community center. That work is underway and will be complete this week. It'll be very exciting because the original floor is still in place since 1988. So we're looking forward to seeing that repair. I think that's all I have today.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Chief, you're up.
Thank you, Supervisor. As of August 26th, the rest are up again, 19% over 2025. In part, we believe the increase is due to our continued and increased involvement with the Orange County Crime Analysis Center. This is an initiative that was put together at the county level about 7 or 8 years ago now. And initially, we really weren't participating other than extracting information that we found useful. As time went on, we saw this as a resource for us and we became more involved, albeit on a limited basis, assigning an officer maybe 1 day a month there and having a liaison. But as time has gone on, our continuing involvement, and now we're trying to also there 1 day a week to work, if possible, it has led to significant intelligence information coming into the police department. So, for example, the person, a bad actor, let's call him, who's stealing power tools from Home Depot here, may very well be stealing power tools from Home Depot in Newburgh, the Home Depot in Monroe, and those agencies may be able to provide us with bits and pieces of information and vice versa. And in several cases, we've been able to solve crimes that are not only impacting the town of Wallkill, but impacting the entire Orange County region, because the MO, the suspect, was a certain a tell that be useful to that agency, but not enough to solve the crime. But then when it's combined with the intelligence from other agencies, in some cases it did lead to successful prosecution of crime, and we've been able to actually throw it, in one case, a statewide gang that was targeted, I'll tell you, it was Ulta. They were getting hit, and it wasn't just us, and we found it was local in the county. When the county put out this message statewide, all these other agencies came back. It was the same thing, it was the same MO. And we were able to focus our attention on that actors, and ultimately it was successful prosecution. That ring was ultimately shut down. So we're going to continue to stay involved with this intelligence center. It's a great resource for us. It's basically old gumshoe police work, a little bit of higher technology than we had back in the day. Hawking summonses are up year to date. It's 1866 versus 1546 for 2025, and that's because of one of our officers was out ill for a while. Law enforcement agent has returned, and we're glad to have him. Moving summonses, a slight bit of a downtick, but we're basically close to even where we were last year at this time. Our next police community council meeting is going to be the summer cookout. That our vice president is here this evening, and it's going to be 6 p.m., not 7 p.m. like the normal meeting, but 6 p.m. There's flyers on the table. I'm sure they'll be available at Louise's office by tomorrow morning, and it'll be on the town's website and our social media site also. So please come out, have some hamburgers and hot dogs. Our Police Youth Coalition last night escorted 50 youth and chaperones to Hudson Valley Renegades game. Unfortunately, the Renegades lost in extra innings. A little disappointing. The good news is the Renegades, they're a Yankees minor league team, and they lost to the Brooklyn Cyclones.
I wondered how long
Mets.
that would take.
A Mets minor league team. So the Mets came into Hudson Valley last night and defeated the Hudson Valley Renegades, but I know Deb attended. It was a great event, and we have great support every year at that initiative. I thank the town board for hiring the full-time dispatchers. This brings our staff up to 4 now. In the past, at one point years ago, we had 5 full-time dispatchers, and we have many part-timers that supplement our full-time staff. But the many part-time they have, they're great. There's so many of them that are wonderful, but they can't commit, or they're young and they're looking for full-time employment, either in policing or EMS or fire department or other types of emergency service or public works. They're looking for other employment, and they hear it's a stop point on their way to their full-time career. And we get many wonderful dispatchers, like I said, that are part-time, but they don't staff. They wind up going to full-time employment ultimately. But having full-time dispatchers is going to go a long way towards professionalizing our dispatch services, which are very busy, handling upwards of 20 or 25,000 calls a year. Congratulations to Police Officer Roberto and Holtz, all the officers involved in the Junior Police Academy this summer. We put 150, 160 youth through the program this summer. It's a great program. They do a great job, all the officers. Many of the officers who run the program are school resource officers. We encourage them to take their vacation time during the summer when school's closed, but they volunteer for this program instead. Because they really like working with youth, and the youth really appreciate it. And then lastly, I appreciate the town board's moments of silence for Canine Bane. Barely 5 years old, this dog was taken from us way too soon. The average life expectancy, service life of a police dog is 10 years. And Bane barely had 5 years. In addition to being a significant asset to the department, in the sense that Bane was wonderful at tracking people down. There was a couple of cases that, but for his assistance, the suspect would have gotten away. It's not just that, it was the community relations component of his involvement with the children in our town. So I speak at a lot of different events, junior police academy graduations, different events at school assemblies, or whatever the case is. And many of them, obviously, junior police academy especially, but also school assemblies, Bane will be there that day before I go in, as part of a program we're doing at school that day. And I always tend to ask the children what they like. Oh, Bane, 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 Bane. And on the occasion also, and they were saying colors, crayon drawing color and painting or drawings, I should say, into the police officer, Bane, and this is Bane, and Bane came to visit us. He impacted thousands of youth in our town, had a great bonding experience with many of our youth. And it's gonna have a positive influence with them as far as their relationship with police going forward. So obviously, it's great for us. He was more than us an asset, and police officer matters as one a partner. And she lives with the dog. Besides being a partner all day, so it's a big loss to her. But obviously, not just an asset, as I said, he was really part of our family, and he made a big difference in many children's life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief.
You're welcome.
Mr. Inspector.
Thank you, Supervisor. For the month of July, the building department issued 197 permits. We completed all the inspections and issued 95 certificates. We collected $101,380,000 for all the applications in the permit process. We handled 34 complaints, and we completed 1,011 inspections. We do want to inform everybody that the building department did send out an informative letter to potential Airbnb parcels indicating them to contact the building department. This is in return for the short-term rental. As per chapter 196, we've gotten a few responses back, which we'll be assisting them with. This is very important. These are transients when it comes down to it. What we do is we do a fire life safety inspection at these homes, similar to what we do to all the apartment buildings here, all the hotels. We want to make sure it's safe for these people. That's the bottom line. We're not here to do anything more than just that. We did have an incident last year where an Airbnb unfortunately experienced a fire. Luckily, no one was hurt. Unfortunately, it was a total loss. But this is something that may have been prevented, maybe not. But we take it very seriously, people's safety, whether it's a resident or non-residents. Also, I do want to thank the town board for moving quickly on allowing us to hire the building department a new principal account clerk, Steve Chattery. He's being trained by Dolores, who many of you know is possibly retiring. Well, she is going to retire next month. She's got 23 years of service. She's the backbone of our building department. She's trained numerous clerks since I've been here, just from the turnover. She's created the majority of our current applications. She's a wealth of knowledge. She's going to be sorely missed. But I feel that O'Keefe, he's got some, pretty big shoes to fill there. But it's going to be a learning process for everybody. So I want to wish her the best of luck going forward. I do want to invite everybody to a luncheon, hopefully earlier this month or next month there. Giving her a send away type of a thing. She will be missed. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Madam Assessor.
We have school bills going out for
certain school districts, the beginning of September, Pine Bush, Goshen, Valley Central, Minnesota. They should be going out the week of September first. Middletown City School District will be going out October first. Data collection has resumed in the town on building permits, COs, properties that are under construction, sales, anything in the courts that we have that we need to review. We have very high motivation in the office and high productivity. The new team that I have in there and the old team, everybody's getting along great and with melding together. The 2 new employees that I have are still being trained and they're in training with the state that's offering some free training classes. Small claims assessment reviews that have been filed will be heard in the Supreme Court in the month of December. We have about 82 cases. New York State Department of Tax and Finance has started mailing out the star credit checks. That'll be for these school districts that I mentioned, Pine Bush, Goshen, Valley Central, Minnesota. The October Middletown City School Districts, those go out a little bit later. If you haven't registered for your star credit check, you should do so by calling the State of New York Department of Tax and Finance at 518-457-2036. Also, I've given the town comptroller, and supervisor school districts, fire districts, library, all of their taxable values as we have as of July 1st for their upcoming budget. Let's see, for their upcoming budgets. Let's see, here, because I wasn't here last month because I felt ill and I do apologize that I had to step out on such short notice. I'm trying to give you 2 months of updates here. Let's see. Renewal exemptions for low-income seniors, ags, fully exempt clergy, firefighter, ambulance, disability with limited income. We're getting all of those exemptions together to process and be prepared for the late fall mailings. And I'd like to also wish my Assistant Assessor Bill Prokopchek and my Assessor Clerk Jennifer Toth a very happy birthday. They both had birthdays this week. And Bill's 25. He's here today. He's here. I wanted to bring him today because I wanted him, because if I'm not going to be here one of these months, I just wanted him to see what I have to do up here when he's in my shoes. The veterans disability, we're still waiting for some clarification from the state on qualifying for criteria and some documents. So hopefully we'll have that information by October. And I wanted to know if the town board has any questions for me on anything that's pressing. No?
Thank you.
Okay. If you have any questions, taxpayers can always contact the office during business hours. I know I had a great conversation with Mr. Moore today about warehouses and we exchanged some information. It was a pleasure to meet you and talk to you today. My assistant assessor and I sat with you and we exchanged some great information and it was a pleasure. And I thank you for coming in and talking with us. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk.
Okay. The state started a program, I believe, in December and it became effective in January, where when you renewed a dog license in New York State, if you wanted to make a donation to a local humane society, you could. So that box is now active. So when folks get their renewal forms, they'll notice that that's on there, and that's a separate amount that is paid to the town. And the comptroller will collect that, and then annually, by the 31st of December, she'll issue a check for those donations. So we're hoping to raise some money for the Middletown Humane Society, which is run basically on donations. So we're hoping for that. The Friendly Visitor Program is training right now, and they are desperately looking for help, especially as the winter months come upon us, for shopping, taking seniors to doctor's appointments, and sometimes even just making a phone call. They are doing some training right now. I put it out on my personal Facebook page on Tuesday, and I was happy to get a call from Paula, who is our representative at JFS, that She heard from Transformations Church, which wants to get involved with JFS. And two ladies who, a couple of years ago, I turned them into election inspectors, and now they want to help with the Jewish Family Services. So if anybody is interested in that or has any free time, they are, like I said, they service what they refer to as neighbors. I think last month they serviced 18 neighbors here in the town. We get like a monthly report. They work through Orange County Office for the Aging. They get some funding from the Aging Office based on how many people they service. So that they need help. We got these nice little books from the county clerk, and they are it's called A Passport to History, and it indicates some places in Orange County where you can go look at historical sites. Our historian June was a little disappointed because there isn't any town of Wallkill in here, but we're gonna work on that. And I know Teresa has left, and I just have to say, I really have tried to help her, and just recently she was here and showed me a video on her phone of all these cats. When she opens her sliding glass door, all these cats come running, and I know it's hard for her. It was just kind of disappointing because, like Frank said, or the supervisor said, we worked hard on that, and Paula was gracious enough to get us that money, and Michelle Baker completed the grant application for us and sent it in. And I've been dealing with Lena in Paula's office. We are going to get a little bit of that money. I did meet with Robin Stewart, who is part of the Dumpton Stray of Middletown. They have a place on my road where it's not an easy way to say it, but really they store cats. They bring cats there. In fact, I think Frank, you're gonna get something because they have a new little thing that's been built there, and they're gonna have an opening. But I have to say, it really was disheartening because I have helped her. I've even bought her a few space certificates with my own money because I know how much money she spends. So when I go back there now, I'm gonna pull out one of those certificates. I thought I had her number on my phone, and I'm gonna give her a call tomorrow and just tell her that we are. It's not that we're ignoring it, but it's a huge problem. And I think there's some in Ward 2.
Yes, Wallkill.
Someone called me just yesterday from Imperial Park, and there's like 15 cats there. I got a call the other day. There's 6 cats by the dumpster at McDonald's on 211, and they're living underneath the dumpster. I mean, it's a big problem. But people have to understand, and I know it's hard to understand, things just don't happen overnight. And when the money's coming from different agencies, it takes time. And I know she's, says that Mark hasn't done anything, but Mark, I know, has probably taken 3 dozen phone calls. So hopefully we can get some money from Paula, and we can get an animal control officer, and we can start working on the cats. And one other thing, I don't know if anybody knew him, but when I was in high school, he was an English teacher, Tom Buckheit, and he passed away, I believe, on Tuesday. And his career ended. He was the principal at the Twin Towers. Great man. And most of us who had him as an English teacher, he was Mr. Buckheit. And if you ran into him anywhere, he lived at Wildflower, and if you ran into him anywhere and you called him Mr. Buckheit, he would say, "You're big now. My name is Tom." So I just send condolences to his family. He really was a great guy. Thank you.
Thanks, Madam Clerk. I do remember Mr. Buckett. And tell you, sad to hear that. All right, we'll move up to the dais. Councilman Coyne.
I'll be brief, real quick. September 11th is 2 weeks from tomorrow. We will be having our ceremony, where, we read out the names of the Orange County residents that perished that day. And for the second year in a row, prior to that ceremony, the Wall Committee will be having our parade. It's gonna start, get there at 5 o'clock, say, what is it, line up at 5, step off at 5:30, down at the, what is it? The Elks, right? Yeah. The Elks, got a lot of people last year, but it's, it's the second year now, so we'll have more. We have members of post 1181, post 151. We have, I'm hearing roughly 70 people from the JROTC from Middletown. That's a huge number. In fact, the chief was telling me that he's probably got about 150 students this year, which is incredible. So yeah, I just wanted to remind, and anybody can walk in the parade, not a problem. And the parade will take us right down to the ceremony. So, basically you got a half hour to walk from the Elks down to the park for the ceremony. So I'm hoping a lot of people show for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilman Saleo.
Thank you, and again, condolences to the police department for canine baying. I do believe there is no heaven without our pets and our service animals. Kudos to OEM and the PD and the fire department and the supervisor who attended for a appearing to be a serious fire, a real threat at the Blue Flame propane over on 17 and appreciate all who participated in resolving that. Very much enjoyed fact-finding tour and found an excellent time with the members of the zoning and planning department for exploring Walmart future plans. And lastly, very much enjoyed the invitation to the Youth Coalition, where I got to win. I think they gave me some easy questions in the Family Feud. Thank you.
Outstanding. Thank you very much. Councilman Vanilla.
Good evening. Just want to start saying with school starting up early September, just keep your eyes open for kids going out to the bus stops, maybe perhaps running across the street trying to grab a bus. Same thing when they go to exit. Just take a little extra time to take a look. Yeah, September 11th, 25 years. To me, it feels like just yesterday. Yep. And just everybody, it's into summer coming up, and it's a little sad, but that fall's here soon enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Johnston.
Thank you, Supervisor. I'll do this like in a minute. I just wanted to say that I'm very, very pleased with the way that the Blue Flame issue, because that's my ward. Probably would be my house too if they were to blow up, was handled. Circleville Fire Department took charge when they got there and did an amazing job, along with everybody else. So I think that was a tragedy averted in a huge way. So I want to say a big thank you to all and everyone that was involved in that. And again, as you heard, September 11th, please come out. It's a somber day, but it's good to never forget and always remember. It'd be nice to see everybody there. And school is starting. I teach at Pine Bush. Our kids are coming Monday, and they will be getting on the bus. They'll be getting off the bus. And, please, as you're driving, watch out for that. Be mindful. And then there's the young kids who got the license, they're going to be driving. Watch out for them, because God knows, like you heard people say, they think they are race car drivers by nature. So please be careful. And the end summer is here, so enjoy what's left. Spend time with your family and enjoy what you have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I echo everyone's comments here. Lots of really good stuff. So thank you very much for calling it out. I'm going to go through the list really quickly. Just as a reminder of some of the stuff that we've done. Most of everybody here has already heard this spiel, so I will keep it as brief as possible, but for posterity's sake only. Emergency alerts. If you haven't signed up for the town emergency alert system, please do. You can do that online. Go to our website. Hey, guess what? 250 years getting celebrated tomorrow. Come out to the golf course and see some fireworks. We're going to do a reboot of our July 4th fireworks extravaganza. If you have no plans, even if you do, maybe drag your plans with you. Come out, we're gonna get things started at 6 p.m. It's the second verse, same as the first. You come out, there's a couple bus locations that you might want to be aware of: Circleville Middle School, Circleville Elementary School, and of course, Circleville parking lots next to Lake's Deli, over on 50 Creamery Road. No coolers, just a reminder, and no pets, and come have a good time. It's gonna be fun. Save the date for the 29th of Saturday, Fiesta Latina, which is over from 11 to 9 p.m. over at the River's Edge Ranch on the other side of town, which is going to be a great time. A lot of fun, food, and fiesta having. So definitely, by all means, do attend that. It's an all-day thing, and it's going to be a good time. Next, spill the tea. For those of you who don't know, I do this. Have a little sit down. You come out, drink coffee, tea, talk with me a little bit one-on-one or one-on 20. And come out and hear what's going on at the town firsthand from my mouth. You can actually ask me questions. I will not dodge them. I take all the tough questions as well as the softballs. You get paid extra for the softballs. Don't forget, Town of Wallkill Seniors every Thursday has bingo down at the community center. It's a good time, $2 to get you through the door. There's generally some pizza or food kicking around and a good time had by all. They're headed over to Forestburg Playhouse at the waterfront at Silver Birches, and in the Villa Roma, they got a couple day trips happening. So get hooked up with those guys, and get yourself something to do over the weekends. And of course, as you've heard, 25 years is not a long time and a long time all at the same time. It's September 11th. So come join us for what will likely be a little somber, but certainly something that is worth remembering for those of us who were there. That's pretty much all I have to go on today. So unless there isn't anything further from the dais, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.